If you need any Ultimate Team coins, head over to footcoinking.com. There's a link in the description, and if you use my discount code CHES, C-H-E-S, as you can see on screen, you'll actually now get a 10% discount for the rest of FIFA 14. Hey guys, how's it going? Chez back again, and welcome to episode number 45 of the Dortmund career mode here on Xbox One. We start off in the Champions League. As you can see, we're playing Valencia away from home. This is the first leg of the quarter-final, and in fact we'll have both legs in today's video. So we're starting off away from home, looking to pick up, as per usual, as many away goals as possible. There's also two all-English quarter-finals as well. Arsenal and Man City have drawn 1-1 after the first leg, and as you saw, Manchester United and Chelsea also play at Old Trafford. I think the first leg was away from home for Chelsea, but unfortunately we conceded a goal after 8 minutes. As you can see, the first shot was well blocked, but it fell only as far as Jonas, who quite spectacularly actually rifled it into the top corner, and we unfortunately found ourselves 1-0 behind. But a nice bit of silky skills from Churchy down the left hand side, stood the ball up to Daniel Sturridge. Unfortunately the ball was headed out by the defender and not Studge himself, but he's actually going to go across and take the corner himself. I think this is the particular highlight. Yeah, he is. I didn't even realise it was him until I'd actually taken it, but Sturridge whips it in, Pogba goes up, drops to I think it was Marco Reus at the back post, who gets wiped out by the goalkeeper, and an unlikely corner taker in Daniel Sturridge actually brings about a move that leads to a penalty. But if you watch Diego Alves' left foot, I think just there he does win the ball. So it is a controversial penalty perhaps, but Marco Reus just absolutely smashes it into the back of the net, in off the left-hand post. Very, very similar to a penalty that Didier Drogba scored at the end of the season in 10-11 question mark when we beat Wigan 7 or 8-0 on the final day to ensure the title. Didier actually scored a hat-trick and won the Golden Boot that day, so that was pretty much a carbon copy of that penalty. Unfortunately, Daniel Sturridge couldn't extend our lead a few minutes later, turning onto his weaker right foot this time, and quite a poor shot in fairness, but we kept the wave of yellow coming. We pushed forward again. Daniel Sturridge involved through the gap to Alessio Churchy. Rather than shooting, the angle got too narrow, so I drilled it across, and Sheridan Shaqiri's there waiting in the middle to give us a 2-1 lead now. Not only are we ahead, but we also have two potentially crucial away goals in our favour. We've had away goals go on our side in the My Player series, and hopefully they'll be doing the same for us here. Marco Reus again trying to extend the lead. Churchy with an open goal in front of him, a similar kind of chance to the one that Jonas very much put away in the opening 5 minutes or so. Unfortunately, our Italian winger can't quite put the ball into the back of the net, and Chicharito sets up Oriol Romeu of all players. Javier Hernandez, formerly of Manchester United, sets up Oriol Romeu, formerly of Chelsea, although actually, technically, I think Romeu is on loan, not actually contracted to Valencia, but regardless, two players that hail from the Barclays Premier League linking up. Unfortunately for them, not quite getting them the goal that they desired, but Socrates did well to delay João Pereira putting that ball in, but the ball comes in here. Jonas just pushes that one wide of the far post, trying to do the right thing, put it back across the goal, unsettle the goalkeeper's feet. Unfortunately for him though, couldn't quite get his angles right, and it did go wide of the far post. But they're going to get another cross in here. Guardado into Javi Fuego, into Javier Hernandez, and this one, rather than through the air, goes on the floor. And it wasn't necessarily the most powerful of finishes, but it was just the accuracy of the shot into the bottom right hand corner was just too much for Roman Weidenfeller to handle. It's a tidy little finish, and in the 87th minute Valencia bring the tie back to life. It's 2-2 after the first leg, so we're going back to the Wildpark Stadion on level terms, although technically I guess we are quote-unquote ahead in the tie with those two away goals, so we are favourites to go through playing in front of our own fans. But before we get that second leg, we have the slight inconvenience of a game away from Freiburg to deal with first in the Bundesliga. Now, you'll be able to see in just a couple of seconds the league table. And as things stand, we're still looking very strong for that Bundesliga title, that back-to-back title. Currently 6 points ahead of Bayer Leverkusen and 7 ahead of Bayern Munich. So we're still very, very strong in the league, hoping to maintain our good run of form today. We said yesterday that we were closing in on the title, and should we get 3 points here against Freiburg, that will put us even closer. And what a finish from little Raheem Sterling. Absolutely fantastic. First time hit into the bottom corner to give us a nice tidy 1-0 lead after 20 minutes. Was actually the first chance of the entire game. The opening 20 minutes was a little bit scrappy, but it took a moment of brilliance to make the deadlock, or break the deadlock rather, and we did just that there with Raheem Sterling. Lovely finish. And then UH tries something just as spectacular. Unfortunately this time doesn't quite get his angles right. Whips it, doesn't just it turns a little bit, but not quite enough. You can see the spin on the ball, and it is dipping as it reaches towards the goal, but it's just a yard or so wide. Would have been one of the goals of the season. In fact, maybe even one of the goals of the series had that flown into the top corner. Unfortunately for us, though, it didn't quite do that. But we're still on the attack, as you can see. Memphis Depay played in round the outside. Good turn inside. I thought about squaring this to Sterling, who stood there in the middle. Decided to go for it, and it was a good decision. Memphis Depay makes it 2-0 5 minutes before half time. Hasn't had too much of an influence on proceedings since coming into the club, and unfortunately I think his growth has glitched out or something, because I've seen people having the same sort of growth with him that we've experienced with Raheem Sterling, where he shoots up to like 83, 84, 85, and unfortunately our Memphis Depay is still at 76, so I'm not really too sure what's going on there. But also, unfortunately, we give away a penalty just before half time. You can see how annoyed the defender is at giving that away. I think it's Matthias Ginter, I'm not entirely too sure, but just doesn't quite get to the ball ahead of the man, and it's actually Mehmedi, the Swiss midfielder, that gets to take the penalties. Of course, had a fantastic World Cup for Switzerland in Brazil over the summer, and gets a stroke of luck here. The penalty comes back off the post. Now, I think technically these go down as an own goal, don't they? You'll have to let me know in the comments. If the ball comes back off the post, hits the goalkeeper as it does here, as you can see, and then goes into the back of the net, I think technically that's an own goal, and it should go down as a Bernd Leno OG. But in fact, Mehmedi is credited with the goal, and we race away at the beginning of the second half, trying to get ourselves back in it. Depay involved again into Churchy. Good shot, well blocked by the defender, and necessarily blocked, because I have a funny feeling that was sneaking its way into the bottom corner. But we pick up a corner from it. Kevin Grosskreutz is going to whip it in. Comes in towards the middle. Churchy himself is underneath it, which was a good save at the goalkeeper. Unfortunately, there's a bit of a tangle of legs there as Subotic kind of clashes with one of their defenders, and the chance goes awry. But Toprak comes on for Shaheen, and actually put Toprak back into the defence and moved Phil Jones, who had been playing in the defence, up to CDM, which is kind of the beauty of having a player that has that sort of versatility in his game, and he's crucial to the squad, I think, at the minute, Phil Jones, despite not playing too much football. And Depay came close to getting another goal there. That was a very, very good free kick, only just missing that post. You'll see from the replay, it does bend towards the goal, similar to Juic's shot earlier, but not quite enough. It did brush the side netting on its way past, but the wrong side of the post. So into the 90th minute we go, trying to make sure that we can pick up all 3 points here, but Freiburg are on the attack. Mehmedi plays the ball over the top. The defender gets the tackle in, but it's not good enough. The goalkeeper can't get there, and he slots it underneath the goalkeeper and into the back of the net. And unfortunately, right at the death, Freiburg steal a point. We drop 2, and unfortunately, our title race has slowed down a little bit. It's going to be a lot closer, I think, towards the end of the season than we were hoping it was going to be. But we've got to be on the ball here at the second leg at home against Valencia, of course, in the Champions League quarter-final. Leonardo San Milano is the referee this time around, and it's an extremely strong side we're putting out, although Heung-min Son is back from injury in the starting lineup, and I've started Daniel Sturridge up top because he has been scoring more goals than Alessio Churchy in recent weeks, so I decided to give him the nod, and hopefully he will be able to repair. So as you can see, Chelsea won 2-1 in their opening leg. Barcelona are through after a 2-0 win on aggregate against Real Madrid, and the other tie between Arsenal and Manchester City has actually, I don't know who goes through. That's after the second leg, and it's 1-1. So I'm not too sure who has gone through in that particular instance, but as you can see, we were on the front foot from the start. Heung-min Son, I think it was, having the first shot, was well saved. He scored a goal quite similar to that a couple of episodes ago by drilling it across the goalkeeper. It was a top quality finish, and unfortunately it wasn't into the back of the net, but this time it was. Paul Pogba sends the crowd into absolute hysterics. We go 3-2 up on aggregate. Of course, it doesn't really change things overall, because we have the two away goal advantage, and to go in front, Valencia need to score 2 away goals anyway, and if we equalise then, that is the only way that this game can go to extra time. Even if Valencia equalise now, which in fact they do just before half time, that still doesn't change anything. We are still going through on away goals. But Chicharito is the man there again. He always seems to score against Chelsea in real life whenever he played for Man United. Of course, now subsequently he's gone on loan to Real Madrid, but this time Chicharito is doing the exact same thing against me, scoring for Valencia in both legs. And actually, Paul Pogba came very close to picking up his second of this game, rather than both legs all told, like Javier Hernandez has done. And it was only a good save from Diego Alves down low to his left hand side that stopped us from really putting ourselves in a top position for the rest of the tie. And in fact, Daniel Sturridge was through here, tries to beat the Brazilian again, but once once again for the second time in short succession. Fantastic reactions from Diego Alves, and then a poor finish from Daniel Sturridge at the third attempt this half. But we're still out 1-1. We're still going through on away goals. Aaron Ramsey into Marco Reus, sees the run of Sturridge again on his favoured left foot, this time a better shot but still an equally good save from Diego Alves, pushes it around the corner for a corner which unfortunately nothing came from. Marco Reus, I tried to set this up for Paul Pogba to play a through ball in front of him, didn't work, so eventually the ball found its way back to Marco Reus, comes out wide to Marcel Schmelzer, whips it in, Heung-min Son underneath, back from injury but can't find the goal to send us through to the semi-finals of the Champions League. The shot goes straight at the goalkeeper. So Valencia with a chance late on to win the tie. Eventually gets cleared here to Feghouli, but wonderful technique. The volley heads towards the top corner. Goalkeeper motionless, had me panic-stricken, to be completely honest. I just had visions as I was flying through the air of it going straight into the top corner. Fortunately, praise the heavens, it didn't, and we go through to the semi-finals of the Champions League with a 1-1 scoreline on the night, a 2-2 scoreline from the first leg, and a 3-3 scoreline overall, and we go through on away goals. But we don't know which one or which two of the four English teams are through to the next round. We could face either Barcelona, Arsenal, Manchester City, Manchester United, or Chelsea in the semi-finals. I as of yet don't know. I haven't recorded tomorrow's episode and haven't seen the fixture list, so we'll have to wait and see who we actually get. But as you can see, despite drawing against Freiburg, we still have a 6-point lead at the top of the table. With 6 games to go, a 6-point lead. The title is within our reach. We just have to make sure that we can rotate the squad enough to make sure we keep up with performances in the Champions League and also pick up points in the Bundesliga. It's going to be tough. It is hard to manage not necessarily a big squad. We do have a half decent sized squad, but it's not a massive one to play consistently in many competitions. Of course, we're out of the domestic cup at this particular point, but still, it's going to be difficult, but I believe we can do it. We've got 6 games to go in the league, and we're through to the semi-finals of the Champions League. So that's going to bring this episode to a close, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Feel free to leave the video a like if you enjoyed. That'd be absolutely superb. If we could get close to 150 again, then I would love you all very, very much. Of course, if you missed anything over the last few days, whether it's this series, the My Player series, an episode of which went up last night, or Luis Suarez's road to redemption, or in fact player predictions. And actually, I think today, I'm recording this on Tuesday, EA have just announced that today, as you're seeing this, that the top 50 player ratings for FIFA 15 will be released and announced. So I'll have to perhaps alter my videos for the weekend for the player predictions. Perhaps we'll look at players that haven't necessarily been announced yet, but still, that's all to come for the rest of the week. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Like I say, drop the video a like, subscribe if you haven't, check me on Twitter and Facebook, and I will see you next time.